Hola a todos. Je vais parler en français parce que mon espagnol n'est pas...
July 2019, the deal was done. 150 million euros. The most exciting player in the Premier League was finally joining the biggest club in football, Real Madrid. The Bernabéu was ready. Madrid was ready. The world was ready. Eden Hazard was not. To understand why this transfer failed so spectacularly, you first need to understand who Hazard really was. At Chelsea, he wasn't just a star, he was freedom. For years, defenders in England couldn't stop him. They fouled him more than any player in the league because that was the only way to survive him. He created chances constantly, scored goals, controlled games without ever looking rushed. In his final Premier League season alone, he scored 16 goals and assisted 15. Only a handful of players in history had ever reached both numbers in the same campaign. Jamie Carragher said it best. He was the best player in the Premier League for 4 years. Not for a season, not for a moment. 4 years. And then came the dream move. Real Madrid isn't just a football club, it's a final destination. The place where greatness becomes immortal. For Hazard, it became something else entirely. June 2019. His presentation at the Bernabéu, flashing cameras, thousands of fans, the famous white shirt. Everything looked perfect. And then, only weeks later, injury, hamstring. He missed the start of the season. People stayed calm. He would come back. But when he returned, another injury followed. Then another, and another. Ankle, shin bone, calf, thigh, hamstring again. Every comeback felt temporary. Every recovery ended the same way. Slowly, the player Chelsea fans remembered started disappearing. In 4 years at Real Madrid, Hazard played only 76 matches. 76. For a club that can play more than 50 games every season. The dream was collapsing in real time. But injuries alone aren't why Madrid fans turned against him. Bodies fail. That happens. What they couldn't forgive was the image. Champions League semi-final. Real Madrid eliminated by Chelsea. And after the final whistle, Hazard was seen laughing with his former teammates, smiling, joking, while Madrid had just been knocked out. The reaction in Spain was brutal. For many fans, that single moment destroyed whatever connection still existed between Hazard and the club. Their 150 million euro superstar looked happier with Chelsea than he ever looked in Madrid. Hazard apologized later, but it was already too late. The image stayed forever. And then came the silence. Vinícius Júnior exploded into superstardom. Madrid kept winning. The team evolved without Hazard. He slowly disappeared from the starting lineup, then from important matches, then almost completely from the conversation. And eventually fans stopped booing him, which was worse, because booing means people still care. What replaced it was colder, indifference. By 2023, Hazard admitted he barely even spoke to Carlo Ancelotti anymore, a player and manager, at the same club, not talking. And then the final numbers arrived. 7 goals, 12 assists, 76 appearances. The best player in England for 4 years scored only 7 goals for Real Madrid. It didn't feel possible. But maybe this story is more complicated than people think, because the easy explanation is simple. Hazard was lazy. Hazard stopped caring. Hazard wasted his talent. But what if the truth is sadder than that? What if this is really the story of a player who arrived at the wrong club, at the wrong moment, with the wrong body? At Chelsea, football revolved around Hazard. At Madrid, football revolves around nobody. You adapt to Madrid. Or Madrid moves on without you. And Hazard, a player built on instinct and joy, never adapted. Maybe he couldn't. In October 2023, at only 32 years old, Eden Hazard retired from football. 32, an age when many players are still reaching their peak. He was already finished. And that's what makes this story tragic. Eden Hazard was not a fraud. At his best, he was a genius, one of the most gifted footballers of his generation. But genius needs the right conditions, the right timing, the right body. And sometimes those things disappear. Maybe the smiling, the silence, the distance from the game wasn't arrogance. Maybe it was resignation. A man slowly realizing that the dream he chased was never truly made for him, because some dreams arrive too late for the body meant to carry them. And that is the most human tragedy in football, not failure, unrealized potential,